We get all finished, and a couple of the guys got to hook up, going back to the car. They took me across. They go,
Not the greatest.
"Is that really your big
Tap
boy
on him so
voice?"
that you go. Right in the middle. That's awful. It should
That's
adjust.
I guess not. I'm sorry.
Do you have an
I didn't know how
I do,
to
but
rock
I think it might be full.
So I was just operating in 2 hours. And then there became a point to where anytime something was happening, it was amazing. You just kind of step forward. Praise!
Yeah.
Stop. When you're a coach, you can do the same thing. You have that authority, you have that power. You just speak, and the players will respond. In fact, I was in the gym one time. We had the boys' team on one side, the girls' team on the other side.
Here,
And the coach
change
came
places.
over and he says, "Can you be a little bit more quiet? Because when you say stop, I say stop." Oscillate my authority. It's just
I'll do it
Now
too.
tap on them. Do you see better angle? Because mine was.
And I love the idea that he's involved in quantum
See?
creation ministries.
So here, you hold mine, and
Well, the angle's fine. Just the lighting.
I'm not sure if you're
look at my lighting, though I can see him right now. So here, just hold yours and record it. There.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, my name's Dennis Edding. I'm the quantum guy. Who's ready to have some fun? Before we can do that, I just want to let the Lord know I want to give you glory. I don't want to do this on my own. So Lord, can we co-labor in this next 20 minutes? I also want to invite the angels in the room to gather and join with us.
Yes.
I recognize you in this room. Thank you. All right. Who here believes that God created the universe? Good. I'm at the right place. All right. Now, if God created the universe, then it makes perfect sense that God put all the laws of physics in place. He put the rules on how the universe is moving along and how it operates, right? Gravity, momentum, and all these things that scientists are figuring out. So I think that it makes perfect sense that God created the universe, He put the laws of physics in place. So, from there, if we study the laws of physics, maybe, just maybe, we will see evidence of God. And that's what I do. But there's different branches of science, and I have been studying for the last 9 years quantum physics and string physics. Now, quantum physics is the study of energy, matter, and motion. What's going on at quantum level are the very, very tiny, tiny parts of atoms. So my body is made up of cells. I've got bone cells, muscle cells, blood cells, and those cells are made up of molecules, and molecules are made up of atoms. So if you remember high school science, you've got a nucleus, and it's got it's got quarks inside of it, and spinning around you've got these electrons. So those parts of the atom is what I really love to study. And I'm going to tell you, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. And then we're going to talk about that here. And the beauty of it is that we don't realize here, and I want to let you know, is we are really the first generation to really get to understand this. Even though quantum physics has been around for about 100 years, most of this time it's been taught in graduate university physics classrooms because it's boring. You know, you don't want to learn this stuff. It's, you know, what relevance does it have? It has relevance for physicists that study this stuff. And with quantum physics, we've been able to have cell phones, satellites, microwave ovens, pretty much every advanced technological device in hospitals has all been from quantum physics. We'd still be in the 1800s with horse and buggies, basically, without quantum physics. So we get all these conveniences, but let's leave those aside. Let's see what we can find about laws giving evidence of God. Okay? So, I got some passages. Let's bring up the first slide, please.
Find you.
Aha, great. All right, 1 John 1:5. This is a message we have heard from him and announced to you, that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. God is light. This is very important. I've been a Christian for some 25 years, and you know what? I've never heard one sermon on Sunday on God is light. And we're going to find out some of the importance of what light is today. But because I only have a limited amount of time, I go in great detail of what light is in my book, A Quantum Case for God, and you just might be interested to read it after I'm done this talk. I would say, though, I'm quite surprised that I got here, and I've been hanging around here the last few days, and people keep coming up to me and say, "Oh, you're the quantum guy. Oh, I'll buy your book. You're the quantum guy. I'll buy your book. I need 2 of them. I need to hand one out." And like, I haven't even spoke yet. Yeah, I remember you from last year. Well, that's great. I must have made quite an impression for 20 minutes last year. People can remember me, so I hope I made another impression. Let's go to the next slide. Remembering that God is light. Hebrews 11:3. By faith we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of the things which are visible. What's going on here? There are scriptures that talk about the things of the visible, like what we can see and touch, have something to do with unseen realms, the invisible. Okay, that's going to be interesting here in a couple minutes. Let's go to the next slide. Colossians 1:17 in the Amplified. And he himself existed and is before all things, and in him all things hold together. He is the controlling, cohesive force of the universe.
Shabbat.
Aha. Hallelujah. All right, next slide. This one's pretty famous. Psalm 139:7. Where can I go from your spirit? And where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. And if I make my bed in Sheol, behold, you are there. This is talking about, there's many scriptures that give reference to God being omnipresent, everywhere at all times. Next slide. 1 John 3:20. In whatever our heart condemns us, for God is greater than our heart and knows all things. Again, I could pick many scriptures that talk about God being all-knowing, omniscient. Next slide. 2 Peter 3:8. But do not let this one fact escape you. Notice, beloved, that with the Lord, one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like one day. Something to do with time. There's a uniqueness that God has with time. All right, the next slide. Thank you. We'll leave this one up. The duration, I'm going to reference all of these. Might be a little small to read, but I'll reference them. Okay. Now, let's see what science has to do with these scriptures. Okay? And light. So again, God is light. Not that God is all light, and that's all God is, but an aspect of God is light. There's almost 100 scriptures that reference God as being light. And we really don't know what light is. It's fantastic. And science says that light is the most extraordinary thing in our universe. It has these amazing qualities that nothing else has. And let's find out what some of those are. For example, and I'm going to go, I call these the Fab Five photon phenomena. Photons, if you'd like to know, is the scientific name for a particle of light. So I'm not talking about the Beatles, that's the Fab Four. I'm talking about these Fab Five phenomena of light, okay? What has science revealed? And these are experiments that have been done thousands of times, maybe hundreds of thousands of times. Maybe some of them have already been getting into 1 million times with 100% accuracy. First, the visible comes from the invisible. There's a process. If anybody knows something about quantum physics, it gets down to, you start at 101, the double slit experiment, and the observer effect, where waves turn into particles. And there's a transitioning process that goes on. It's very famous. And so this podium cannot exist until it transitions from an invisible realm of waves, transitions and becomes materialized in our physical realm by this process. And the only transitioning agent known by scientists is light. Now, when we look at Hebrews 11:3 as one example where the Bible is saying that God has something to do with everything visible from the invisible, we're seeing that science is saying, that does happen, and it happens through light. God happens to be light. Number 2, holds all things together. All right. The way atoms work, like let's take a molecule of water, H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms and a oxygen atom. They fit together like puzzle pieces. But what would happen if you make a puzzle and you try to pick it up? Pieces fall apart. So they can fit together, but they don't do the bonding. Scientists have discovered that what does the bonding in order to pick up a puzzle piece and hold things together is a glue. And scientists have discovered that there is a universal glue that happens to be
Light.
That's right, light. Thank you very much, light. It holds so much together that, see this podium here in my hand? There's so much space in between atoms that the reason my hand doesn't go through this podium is not because the matter of this metal or this plastic in my hand is holding it back. The reason my hand doesn't go through it is because light is bonding this in my hand, and light is retracting and preventing me from going through. Light holds everything together. I cannot stand here and have this form without light holding you together. I think we're starting to see some connections between science and our Creator. Let's go on to the next, omnipresence. Richard Feynman, a famous scientist, discovered a process called quantum electrodynamics. Probably wouldn't recommend reading his books because this topic is pretty boring if you just read it. But when you dig into it, what you discover is scientists have discovered that omnipresence exists. That light is omnipresent. Every thought we have, every action that occurs in our body because we're made up of atoms, there's light engaging with our atoms or electrons at every moment of every second. So every axon, every dendrite, every synapse firing, every chemical in there is made up of atoms. So every thought process, God, light, is involved in the process. Taking one step further, omniscience, all-knowing. Scientists have done experiments trying to trick this transitioning process, and they cannot trick it in experiments, and they get more and more complicated, and they figured out that light has knowledge in the process of the transitioning that comes down from the invisible to the visible. It's all knowing. So, when I say to you that I am co-laboring right now with Christ, with you, light is engaging with my thought process, and we're bringing reality, we're bringing my thoughts and everything to you, co-labor. We cannot separate ourselves from the love of God, even if we try. Governs time. Thank you, Albert Einstein, for all you did with special relativity and time. It's a fascinating subject to study. And so I can't go into all the details, but my book really goes into the details. You don't have to know anything about quantum or string physics. I like to use analogies and simplify things and get these in really great detail and bring things together. So I think you'll enjoy there, because I also get into additional dimensions. Science says there must be additional dimensions. There must be the frequencies generate energy, which generates matter. Again, Einstein equals mc squared. Science is all over the Creator and wants to prove it and wants to awaken us. And so what is all this information for? This is for you, right? You come long distances to learn more, and it's like, oh, I want to learn more about God. So if you read this book or watch videos on quantum and you see God's presence, you're going to get a great deal out of it, and it's going to be awesome. But I want to take it even beyond us. There are people like me who I sat in my seat at church for, I thought I was swimming in the deep end. But when my pastor's talking about the kingdom is at hand, I'm thinking, well, the kingdom's out there. It's a dualistic. What Harold's trying to say is not dualistic. It's not out there. It's within us. It's like I can't wrap my head around that. I'm logical, reasoning. It's an abstract. I like to deal in something's concreteness that I can make sense of it. And so for the longest time, Jesus ascending and Jesus died. Okay, he's out there. How can he be within me? I can't get it. When I do this quantum stuff and bring things together, the 6 inches between my ears here can now bring relevance, can make sense of my pastor's message. And what I thought I was swimming in the deep end of the pool, I actually was dipping my toe in the pool, or at best, wading in the shallow end. But I'm now swimming more in the deep end because I'm becoming more alive and getting greater understanding of what this means by Christ light in me. Christ is in me. The Holy Spirit is in me. So this is also for people that might not fully engage with angels or fully engage with praying for healing or heavenly realms, because science or logic might be giving them some conflictions. Where do I stand? There's the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. Oh, creation 10,000 years ago. Is it this? Is it this? Where do I stand? I don't know. And so I'll just stay here in the middle and say, yes, I believe in God, I'm safe here, and that's as far as I come. But for people like me, I've been able to step more into the presence. And so this type of topic is great for those type of people. It's also great for our teens and our youth. I just read a statistic by Ted Decker that by the age of 29, 58% of our youth are walking away from their faith or putting it on hold. And you know what? We haven't really given them the greatest narrative to go out when they go out on their own, or when they change in their cognitive processes about, I just believe everything my parents or the Sunday school teaches, to, I have to make sense of it on my own. They have to go out and get bombarded by challenges and anti-God. I mean, when you're told, that's stupid, the Bible's worth nothing but silly stories and myth. Science is saying no. Science isn't saying that. Only some people from science are taking it and trying to twist it. Scientists on the most part are just neutral. I'm just studying science. It's people trying to make something that it's not. And I say, if we educate our youth, they'll have stronger narratives, because who wants 58% walking away? Don't you think 0 is better? I think we should have 0.
Zero's a good number there.
Defensive posture at our youth going out into the world, they have an offensive story that says, no, science says yes to God. So many think that science says no to God, and I'll tell you they're wrong. And they can be more wrong if they were Mr. Wrong and they were the mayor of Wrongville. I borrowed that. I love that saying. This is also for agnostics. Sometimes it's hard to spread the gospel to people that are agnostic. I don't believe in God. Or I don't know, I believe in everything. Just let everything be. And as soon as you start bringing up your testimony or about the love of Jesus, it's like they've been conditioned. They've heard it so many times. Their Pavlov dog, and the wall goes up, and I don't want to hear anything about your God. Because we talk in Christianese. And they pick it up like that, and the wall goes up. Oh, yeah. But you know what? I found if you start talking in science like these 5 Fab photon phenomena, people are really interested. And now I have a bridge on that wall to have a door to open up for the Lord then to come in and pierce their heart, and we can connect what people find so much truth in science, to say science is pointing to our Creator. And we have a new narrative that now we can start talking to them about the love of Christ. Because I believe the best testimony is our experience and our relationship with Christ. But when that wall goes up and it's already like this, where can we go? And I think all of us know someone, a loved one, a friend, a relative, that is an agnostic, that has that wall up. So I have a book here. First person up here that wants a book to give to an agnostic, come on up here. And
That's hilarious.
Fantastic. All right. So I also want to talk to atheists, but I need your help. I need your help. I want to get this word out. It's a great message. I'm getting great feedback. So if you have a conference coming up at your church, or you just want me to come out and speak, invite me out. You know, come join me on Facebook. All right, Dennis Zetting on Facebook. You know, and let's start getting the word out. All right. Thank you very much.
Shameless plug.